did it again 1 year ago, I think.
Why did you drop out of SCED?
They dropped us, not me.
Okay, so it
You
was
know,
like
they can't you.
you were disqualified because of the financial challenges that the SCED
Yes,
had
that we
during.
face it, yeah, in our country, yes.
Okay, well, it's quite clear, but I think it's some sort of politically related than economically related issue when it comes to HCED.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
graduated I graduated from the HCED program.
yeah, I met you a few times there.
Mm,
Yeah, at the Green Zone.
where like
We took some lessons in English there.
hmm
Uh, yeah, and I saw you several times there.
but I didn't give you training, right?
No, no.
Okay, sounds good. Um,
Mm.
give me 1 second. I'm just taking a few notes here. Okay, I think that you're not that quite far, and I talked with Jafar yesterday about the kind of situation that you are in right now. That you have crossed the threshold of 30 years old, and for your case, 30 years young, and the good point is you getting higher score to secure a good chance for immigration to Canada. Is this
Mm.
clear? Is this
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
I got
happening?
you. I think this is the case.
Okay, pretty much the case, and it's totally understood.
Mm.
Well, good. For writing, I don't think that this is going to be very challenging kind of journey. Your English is terrific, and I don't think that we're gonna face any big challenges out there. I think it, excuse me, it's more of a quite interesting. It's more of a structure. When it comes to writing, we have two major problems, and first problem is we face the Arabic thinking mind when we start writing,
Mm.
and Arabic thinking mentality or mind is
Mm.
conflicting with the way English is structured. And this leads me to my next point, which is the structure of English paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And I've reiterated that on so many occasions that
Mm.
writing should be written through the channel of an English speaking context. So whatever
Okay.
you write, you have to ask yourself, not what when you write, it's not the question is not how do I translate that into English, but
Mm.
how do they say it in English?
That's right.
Um,
Mm.
and this can save you so much time when it
Mm.
comes to writing.
Mm.
Uh, let me give you an example here.
Mm.
Um, if we say, for example, in English, um, uh, أريد أضرب عصفورا بحجر.
Mm. Attract two
How do you
birds with one stone.
say it again?
So I want to strike two birds with one stone.
So
I think.
it's very good. It's excellent,
Really?
actually. Uh, but we have one issue here, and that
Mm.
is you subconsciously, because you have an Arab speaking mindset.
Mm.
And by the way, I am recording this meeting so you
Yes,
can
I
have a look at it, so you can access it later. This is something that I do all the time.
know. Mm.
Um, when you said the word strike, strike did not come from your question of how do they say it in English, but how do I translate that into English? And you just thought to hit يضرب. يضرب to strike, to hit, to beat. So your mind chose the word strike because you thought that this is the equivalent to the word يضرب.
So
Or you chose the word يضرب subconsciously because your mind is processing vocabulary in tremendously fast manner. And
it's wrong, or
it's not wrong, but it's not 100% right. What you did, um, you pretty much delivered the meaning, but you delivered the meaning in a way that I understood you, but I felt that your English needs to be a little bit modified. Not to say my English is perfect. I'm just telling you that in English we say to hit two birds with one stone. What happens is that when you come to writing, you start subconsciously because you are so occupied with trying to fit as many words within the time constraint of 40 minutes. So you lose the kind of train of your thought and you start translating literally in some occasions. And that is where we will not be able to escape the filter of Arabic to English translation. You need to understand and to believe in yourself that you're not a translator, and you always have to constantly ask yourself, how do they say it in English? Not how am I translating that into English? When you translate literally, you are going to take the role of an interpreter or translator, and that's gonna forbid you from delivering a beautiful spectrum of sentences that you know, but you just don't give it a bit of thinking.
So my case is treatable now.
Your case is not chronic, and based on my diagnosis of your case right now, you're pretty much very positive, writer. You just need to understand and to look at things from a different perspective, and probably by the way, I'm not your professor, I'm not your teacher, I'm just a person to guide you, to tell you what you should do, because I was taught by American teachers to do what I'm doing to you right now. Going back to the second point, which is the structure, and in the major problem of Arab writers is actually their cultural background and heritage and relevance. And as a nation, as an Arab speaker, we grew up missing the point. So
and
when
I think we have a problem of even expressing ourselves or our thoughts.
that's the point, that we always احنا اذا نريد نقول هسه هذه النقطة الثانية. ما اعالج صلب الموضوع. شلون how do we say this in English؟ يعني بالعراقي يخط بصف الاستكان.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
How do we say that in English؟ هسه هذا هسه يعني جملة تشخيصية اريد اشوف راح تترجميها لو راح تقوليها مثل ما يقولوها بالانجليزي. أنا متأكد تعرفيها شلون تنقال بالإنجليزي، بس you just need to give it a little bit of thinking.
شنو هي الجملة قلتها؟ sorry, what is the شنو بالعربي؟
ما يعالج صلب الموضوع، لا يعالج صلب الموضوع، لا يناقش القضية الأساسية، يعني يخاطب صاحب الاستكانة.
دقيقة. ما أدري. It doesn't fix the exact point.
هذا هو، يعني هو مدى يصلح النقطة الأساسية. You're just translating again.
I'm translating.
So in my point here that I'm writing is that we need to talk about, we need to learn how to say grammatically correct idiomatic expressions. اللي هي تعابير إصلاحية شائعة في اللغة الإنجليزية، اللي هي to beat around the bush.
To beat around the what?
Beat around the bush. Beat around
You
the
know,
bush.
this is one of the things that I want to learn is the metaphors and expressions that
For
are
my
used.
my dear lady, this is not a metaphor. This is something called idiomatic
No, no,
expressions.
I
No,
for me, one of the things that I want to learn. I think by
you
studying so much, it will be so easy to me.
there is a big difference between what you
Mm,
want and what you need.
okay. Mm, mm.
Okay. What
I
what
can hit two birds with one stone.
I love it. Okay. I think you started to incorporate this thing, and I think you're a very intelligent person that you're trying to connect the links, and um, that's awesome.
Mm,
When we talk about metaphor, we saying, "Oh my God, he's a horse."
mm,
هذا metaphor. يعني هو حصان.
mm,
يعني هو نشيط جدا.
mm,
Um, um, he's a pig. هو خنزير. يعني he's very dirty. He's a
mm,
dog. يعني
mm,
هو كلش faithful.
mm.
بس مو بالعراقي.
Of course.
This is what we call metaphor. انه
Mhm,
نستخدم يعني تسمية او تشبيه بس بدون
mm,
استخدام like. انه
mm, mm,
ما اقول he is like a horse لان هذا مو metaphor صار.
mm, mm.
اللي هو تعبير مجازي تحول تشبيه.
Mhm.
عموما هذا مو metaphor. احنا what we talk about is idiomatic expressions,
Mm,
and not any idiomatic expressions that serve the purpose of getting higher score in IELTS test. So let's
mhm.
keep it focused. Going my
Okay.
يعني نرجع للمربع الأول. شلون نقولها بالإنجليزي؟
Uh, going back to the main subject.
اوكي نرجع الموضوع الأساسي. بس this is not how we say it in English. This is exactly what you translated from your Arabic
Mm,
mind
yes.
to English mind. Going back to square number one. This is
Mm,
another dramatic expression. نستخدمها بالإنجليزي. You need to ask yourself, how do they say it in English? When you learn how you say it in English, this is where your talent is going to kick in IELTS writing.
yes.
ذكرت نقطة جوهرية. شنو نقطة جوهرية بالإنجليزي؟
Uh, I don't know.
Okay. Now let's ذكرت نقطة أنه مشكلتنا
Golden
بالكتابة.
points.
مشكلتنا بالكتابة جاية من الإرث التاريخي الحضاري للعرب.
Mm,
كتب مثلا كتاب الجاحظ يتحدث
mm,
به في واحد من الفصول مثلا عن الأسد. Okay,
mm,
so he start talking about a lion or a tiger or something. So the title of the subject of the chapter is tiger. So he
mhm,
says, well, tigers grow in Africa.
mm,
Africa is a continent in the world. Now, the
mm,
whole world has 7 continents. One of them is Africa. Africa is located in the tropical line of the Earth, and Earth is really big. It's a planet among the other planets in the solar system that rotate around Sun, which is the center of the galaxy, and galaxy has billions and billions of galaxies, and it's so he started talking about a tiger, and then he
And
ended
they
up talking
end up
about.
with the galaxy. Yes.
So he's missing the point. He's
Mm,
beating around the bush. But
mm,
this is not something wrong. This is a style. This is called rhetorical style, rhetorical Arabic style. It's the style of narration without getting to a point. But then by the
mhm,
end of the chapter, he recapitulates back to talking about tiger. But he does not address tigers.
mm,
So eventually, he is providing very solid artistic style of writing, good choice of vocabulary, but he
mm,
does not address the point, the major point. Okay?
yes.
English really does not like this kind of style. If you start talking about, um, let's say, congenital malformations,
Mhm,
you need to address particularly congenital malformations. The introduction is about congenital malformations. The second paragraph is about the types. of congenital malformation. The third type is about the symptoms, the diagnosis, the treatment, and conclusion is about congenital malformation with a summary of the introduction of congenital malformation, period. نقطة على السطر. Okay, this is English style. IELTS is a test that determines whether you understand, respond, interact, and write effective academic style writing to be able to survive in academic setting should you travel to UK or to Australia or to Canada or to USA. So IELTS test if you are eligible to be considered as a student and the academic level. For writing, they determine that, by the way, IELTS is not a challenging test. It's not difficult test. It is just a test that has some tricks and things you need to bear in. يعني شلون نقول ناخذها بنظر الاعتبار؟ شلون نقولها بالانجليزي؟
Take it in consideration.
Perfect. So to bear in mind or to take it in consideration or to take them in consideration. So the first primary assessment condition is something we call descriptors. Descriptors هي المعايير اللي يقيسون عليها performance مالت الشخص بالwriting. So they have 4 standards or 4 descriptors. Okay. Descriptor رقم 1 بالنسبة لهم هو task completion or task achievement.
Task achievement, sorry.
Task achievement. So if they say to you, smoking kills, do you agree or disagree? State your opinion and give examples. You have 300 words to... Huh?
What? I didn't hear you.
I said
first what?
Smoking kills. State your opinion.
Smoking kills.
Whether you agree or disagree, use 300 words to write an essay about that part. For example, so the first thing that they are going to check is whether you addressed the topic considerably enough to a point that can be satisfactory to the evaluator, the IELTS evaluator.
So I should write my opinion first? Do you mean that?
We will talk about that in full details, but not tonight. I'm just giving you an introduction about the theme of writing and some things to bear in mind, to take in consideration when we start talking about the structure. No matter what question that they're going to present to you, you will not have to, you are not supposed to have any specialized background information about it. So no matter what kind of medical question, physics or math or general kind of topic question, you are not necessarily obligated to know the specificities of that topic. It's just a general topic that you need to express your opinions pro or against. For example, of all public transportation options, a metro is the most convenient way to get around LRCT. Do you agree or disagree? Of course, last year, I heard from a friend, they brought a question that looks like this. Do you like to write in pen or do you like to write with a pen or with a pencil? State your opinion of your preference and why. So this is very simple kind of question, but it's the art of writing that will determine if you are going to be able to successfully complete this essay or not. So task achievement is you achieve the goal, you address the point, you complete it almost fully. Point number 2 is the cohesion and coherence, which is the logical sequence of sentences and paragraphs. And that can be achieved through 2 tools, what we call the grammatical tools, اللي هي مثلا thus, therefore, afterwards, in the beginning, and on the first hand, on the second hand, in conclusion, in summary. These are something we call grammatical linking or connectors, and functional or content words that are related to the theme. We have lexical diversity اللي هي تنوع المفردات. So you need to show them that you have very high potential value of vocabulary that can be used in the academic setting. You avoid using informal expressions like something, very, or anything, or dude, or these kind of informal expressions that indicate low level of language proficiency.
Yes.
And last but not least is something we call grammatical range and accuracy, which is testing your grammar. They check your grammar because you're going to use handwriting. So they check grammar, and they check how accurate you use the expressions collectively. And you do not need to write 300 words to achieve 9 score. So each one of these items or descriptors are given 9 out of 9. They add up, and the average of the 9 is going to be your final score for task 2 in IELTS. You do not need to write 300 words. You just need to write 270, 260. But how good a writer you are will be determined through the score that you get. Second task, which is task number 1, is the description of graphs. So they show you a graph, and you just need to write around 120 to 150 words about it, or 12 to 15 lines. And it's quite interesting. And this is probably my favorite task to be done, because it's very straightforward, it's very clear, it's very simple. You just need to follow a structure. And that leads me to point number 1. We need to avoid Arabic style thinking, not writing. If we avoid Arabic style thinking, we will achieve the potential higher score. And second, put it in a structure. So no matter what you're talking about, it needs to be structured well, even if that goes against our will. So we just need to structure it perfectly well. And the way we do that, are you talking to me from a phone or a laptop?
Yes, from my husband's phone.
Okay, well, next time, I totally recommend you to use
laptop.
To use a laptop, because of course you're not gonna get my point from 4 or 5 inches screen. You just need to open up to your screen to see the spectrum of the points that we are talking about here.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. Now, do you have the results of the IELTS, the latest one?
Yes.
Okay, I would love if
You want a copy of it? Yes.
Yeah, I would be more than happy actually to have a look at it later, not tonight. I mean, you can send it tonight to me. Okay, I'm just taking notes here. Say it again.
No, I'm talking to my husband.
Say hi to him.
He said hi.
Okay. Yes, so far, remind me, what was the last thing that I said?
You wanted a copy of my IELTS test? Yes. And we were talking about the structure. How can I make it perfect overall?
Perfect. So you're not going to make it perfect, but you're going to make it academic.
Good.
I don't believe in perfection, and nobody will get to perfection level, but you can be very professional.
Okay.
So we're talking about academically, professionally written sort of essay that does not necessarily have to be perfect. Perfection is God's thing. It's not human's thing. So,
I'm Libra woman, so I look for perfections always.
well, believe it or not, you're not gonna find it anywhere.
I know.
Start there.
I know. But I'm struggling.
Okay. Now, do you have any access to laptops right now, since your husband is a
Laptop.
lovely ethical hacker and he loves to do things? Jafar, do you hear me? Hello?
Now you're watching me or what?
Metro is one of the. I'm just watching everything you're writing.
Museum. Did I write it?